Lovely, wonderful, and here we go. So, after you clear the final floor in the normal run of Pilgrim's Traverse, much like previous deep dungeons, you get the finale of the lore. So I got my floor 100 clear thanks to some hunt buddies, Alice and Luna. Mwah. And now I get to do this quest with Aenc Daen. Or Aenc Daen. Still not sure exactly which that is. I'm just gonna go with Dawn. A branch and their sapling. Oh my gosh, you get all of these for finishing this quest? Aenc Daen's muddy eyes regard you suspiciously.
I must say, Slimwood, you've been wandering holy halls like a woman possessed. Be that your pleasure, I won't prevent you from making a haven of hell. Just know that I take no responsibility should you die upon the land you loved so well. At the end of the road, you met what?
Yeah, it was like a fusion of dark and light magic.
Oh, monstrous, oh, strange! I hardly know which to fear more, the true terror slain or the slayer true. You must be madder than your mad bloom to have flown so far and wreaked as much havoc besides. With blood-flecked laurels must we crown your mortal brow. Now, what changes upon the church may we observe? Meet us at Damron Field. I will fetch the king. Swifter than arrow from Rendaray's bow. I go! Look how I go!
You're not going very fast, I must admit.
Why am I not going, you ask? I'll get around to it. To the church at Damron Field. Your saplingness with haste.
Yeah, okay. Alright, oh! The little circle's still here pulsing. That's fun. It could be Dane, and it is definitely based on, like, Northern European older languages, Gaelic.
The Fey wards have vanished. All rites have been read to do right by the dead.
Each has passed on, and grief no longer writes their epitaph. Did the Archbishop intend for us to bury that final fiend with him? Or was it all a mere coincidence? The truth behind these happenings has flown. Nonetheless, you have my eternal gratitude for your deeds here, my dearest, bravest sapling. On behalf of all Illumed, I thank you.
Yay. But what was that monster anyway? What's dark and light and dread all over? To say nothing of that inner room, did pilgrims of Eld conclude their journey there?
Remarkable phenomena, to be sure. There is one whom I know of the fiend, a pilgrim who heralds from a land rich in darkness, who journeyed alongside our warriors of light. She carried a burden so great that I should not be surprised had she left more than footsteps in her wake. You might seek answers from her, if there are any to be found. Ciela? As for the room, I can share but little. Let me get a picture of her. Oh, they're so pretty, they're so pretty, they're so pretty. A
activating the portal while ether dissipated from the fallen creature must have conjured a glimpse of its memories. A sweet dream of a faraway fantasy that leaves mortals reeling. No different than any phase mischief. The portal is still open. I thought it would fall dormant once the funeral was over. Even should lesser eaters remain within, there is little chance of them bursting forth without a greater force to compel them. But to prevent any foolish fae from straying into trouble, I shall reinstate the wards myself. Well, my sapling, how did you find this adventure?
Oh my gosh, this picture, holy. Not Titania mimicking Heidelin's words to us. Ugh.
That's so pretty.
Exhilarating. I suppose I learned a thing or two. Can I go home now? Nah, I had a great time. It was exhilarating.
I can hardly wait to brag about your exploits, and I know one friend who will be particularly keen to listen. Shame that he's less pretty without the crystals. Now to renew the wards. Everyone keep your distance.
That was a cute animation of blinking in the light. Oh.
Beyond this road's end, another begins. So forget not our pact, my adorable sapling. I am ever your beautiful branch. From one to the other, bond unbroken and true.
Shed the regalia now that the big official business is over, I suppose. Show off. They're so cute. Okay. Well, that was a nice little cutscene. Didn't say too much. Did hint at going back to talk to Ciela, though, so... storing that for later. We'll do that in a little bit. But first... Hey, Aenc Daen.
You've saved the kingdom of rainbows like a right and proper hero. Very good, etc. I would bid you adieu, my service to the king complete. But the course of fealty never did run smooth. No, I am to watch over things here, in case you desire another pilgrimage. Flirt with your own fatality all you like, but best to tread carefully, Naya Lolita. Now much beshrew my manners and my pride, if you were ever to claim that I had lied. So know that if you die along your way, we'll steal your soul for ours and make you fey.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for all of the goodies. I will put them in my retainer's pockets as soon as I can. Congratulations, you have completed Pilgrim's Traverse. You can exchange copies of Illumed Invocations for 4 types of accessories by speaking to Ose Wyd. If you speak to Aenc Daen with all 4 of these accessories equipped or in your inventory, you will earn an achievement and a rare item. Cool. Quantum now accessible, right? Furthermore, you may now summon a powerful incarnation of Eminent Grief by means of the final verse Quantum. Eminent Grief is the Stone 99 boss. Stone 100 is a victory floor for claiming your prize and taking pictures. Much in the style of Heaven on High and Eureka Orthos. And technically Palace, I think. I think Palace has the final boss on 199 and 200 is the victory floor. I've never cleared Palace. It's the only one I haven't, so I can't speak from experience. This duty can be challenged regardless of progression through Pilgrim's Traverse. Be warned that the incarnation summoned with offerings will pose a far greater challenge than the fiend you confronted beyond Traverse Stone 99. Vanthau can offer detailed information on the requirements for invoking the final verse quantum. Alright. But Aenc Daen has more for us.
You've penned your page in this age-old tale, from humble beginnings to happily sometime after. But be not too proud, for beyond your mortal folly, we await.
So, speak with Aenc Daen. Look at all of these options. So as you progress through and you clear certain bosses and hit checkpoints, you get lore for the different critters. And I'm fairly confident that I read the first 3, but I'm going to read them all again. Tell me about Fey folk.
Who constitutes Fey folk is highly dependent upon time and place. While Fwaath and Pixies have always been quintessential examples, the new Mo and Old Blood Amaro are more recent additions to the ranks. These days we are defined as what resembles a child of man, yet is too strange to be one. Speech is a good measure of that resemblance. A beast that barters may be Fey, but one that only barks is but a beast. Indeed, the true difficulty lies in determining how strange is too strange for mankind. So let me ask, since I've run out of answers, what constitutes a person? And how can you be sure you're one of them?
Yeah. Tell me about yourself.
Me? I enjoy long walks on the shore and reading books in my spare time, though I tend to dampen the pages something dreadful. Judging by our first meeting, you're already familiar with Fwaath. You know our mischief is as dark as the water we drag mortals into. Perhaps you also know that, just as pixies are born from the souls of unbaptized children, Fwaath too have a unique origin, namely the water in which we ourselves drowned. We are souls lost to the deep, unnoticed and unmourned. A lonely end, which is why we're always seeking company. By luring other unfortunates to the place of our demise and dramatically dispatching of them, we feed our instinctual desire to be noticed, to be loved. Not that I have even the foggiest where I croaked. It's been far too long. Even were I to recollect, there's bound to be naught left of the old mortal coil. Perhaps the smallest chip of bone, waiting to be swallowed by a fish.
Wonderful. And what's your tale on sin-eaters?
You've encountered sin-eaters, but has your mortal mind fully grasped the horror of what it is to become one? Your outsides wrought into a grotesque parody of beauty, your insides ravaged into structures that defy the chirurgeon's healing touch, to say nothing of your soul. In many ways, 'twould be a mercy if the metamorphosis always destroyed the creature's essence. And yet, should you find any sin-eaters that look significant, I might be able to share the tale of who they were before they began indiscriminately slaughtering passers-by. Only those important enough to be immortalized upon the page, mind. As with the church itself, records of its era have outlived natural memory. And unnatural memory, for that matter.
And that's where we begin our lore of the bosses. So, Stone 10, the Ornamental Leafman.
A frondant blob of rainbows. Why, that would be no sin-eater, but a Leafman. Mutated from a greener state, perhaps, but a Leafmen are fundamentally the product of pixie transmogrification. Enjoy a mortal's company, and give them leaves before they flee. Chatty, fidgety Leafmen are not unheard of, but to think that one might try pressing you like a flower, An ambitious bush indeed. Curiouser still is its ability to multiply at a moment's notice. Are its blossoms more show than substance, then? What a rich display of mortal vanity! And yet you say its words reflected only a heart of flora, its flesh and blood forgot. The hazards of chronic shrubbery, I'm afraid.
Then on stone 20 we have the Forgiven Emulation.
The blanched husk of an ambulatory tree that once thrived deep in our forests, similar to the werewood, which I'm sure you've seen. I know a plant where the wild weeds grow, where songbirds and the seeking creatures go, quite over-canopied with mushrooms and leaves, a roving woodland where to be at ease. Full often did I laze upon the back of that gentle giant. But once it turned, all it touched became corrupted by light. So remain the bodies of those that once sought sanctuary in its boughs. A cold wind blows through our roving woodland now.
Forgiven Treachery at stone 30.
Ah yes, the aforementioned Archbishop. I have since dribbled many a puddle in the royal library while reading up on his celebrity. The Numo keepers were less than pleased, but when are they ever? Before he became a sin-eater, Sladfort was but another strapping gull-gent from the kingdom of Obert. He was happily possessed of a healthy mind and healthy body, both of which he honed by strict regimen. A quiet, disciplined sort, a paragon of authenticity. As a person and as a clergyman, he was loved and admired. Alas, when the sin-eaters robbed him of his soul, his very devotion betrayed him. Though the thousand prayers he had offered to the light remained steeped in his body like a second blood, their power now turned upon all he had once served. You did lay him to rest in the church of his faith, however, so perhaps his prayers were answered after all.
Then we have stone 40, the Forgiven Naivety.
From the sound of it, you visited the oceanic chapels of Colossia. Architecture built from the reefs was once a common sight in those parts, and the churches were considered some of Colossia's finest structures. Water everywhere you look, hugging the wide windows, pooling gracefully in the halls. Considering the numerous aqueducts, it's little wonder that a sin-eater swam in with a cohort. Those finned pests beguile and make their play, with mighty jets and spouts and blinding spray. Pity their prey, for poor and wretched be the victims of absolved naivety. If you ask me, those salty brats should know their place. We Fwath make a far better art of drowning.
Then there was the Ogbunabali, Traverse Stone 50. This one still gets a lot of people. I did a solo clear, not because I queued solo, but because all 3 people I was matched with perished constantly.
A visage more terrifying than the ghastliest of sin-eaters. You have met Ogbunabali, ancient beast of Amarang. What is a jade mandible for, if not devouring the power of earth and rendering stone to sand? Some say it shifts a land's ethereal balance, while others claim it conjures shockwaves deep underground. Is any of this true? Piffle. Any who do encounter the elusive Ogbunabali are, in most cases, immediately buried. Sudden death does wonders to prevent significant research. Sand clogging your throat as you choke your last breath. Unable to fight, even to flail. The thought alone makes me ill. No, suffocation is best done in water. Care to give it a try? For you, I'd be happy to lend my services.
Of course you would. And then stone 60, we have the Ancestral Maliktender.
That old eccentric is still alive and stomping? Some legends are too timeless to succumb to sin-eaters. The mightiest of gigantenders are crowned with the title of king, but that fellow's chief humor is for a tyrant. It shears prongs from its brow to serve as soldiers, ordering them around like a true monarch. And like true peasants, his feeble squadron soon wastes away under the demands of its overlord. The golden crown is a work of conceit, lovingly carved and adorned with jewels, all by its own 2 stubs. The lengths kings will go to assure themselves of dominion. Still, we can enjoy a laugh at its expense. For if you observe closely, you will see that its needles issue not only from its head, but sweet bottom. So regally it plays the part, yet cannot hide its deadly fart.
It does. It attacks front and back simultaneously. That's so fucking funny. Alright, Stone 70, the Forgiven Zeal. What is... Zeal. I don't visually remember these immediately.
There survives a tale from the old Nabath Empire, worn smooth by the times it has been told. Long ago, in the heart of the desert, the people of an oasis were beset by a vicious brute, the One-Eyed Wight.
Oh, this is the Cyclops.
The One-Eyed Wight was as fierce and fearsome as a sandstorm. Aye, its glare alone could engulf a man in flames. Its power was matched only by its thirst for gold, they say, and so the village soon found itself destitute. It is here the hero enters, his cue past. A lad both brave and clever defeats the fiend, claims its hoard of treasure, and everyone lives happily ever after. The end. Well, I never promised the tale would be original, now did I? But the Sin Eater you described may be the One-Eyed Wight of Eld. Distorted by light, its immolating eye a mawkish milky white. Does not misfortune render evildoers in a sympathetic hue? Just imagine the tears it must weep alone, condemned to a ninny's tomb.
Forgiven Profanity, Traverse Stone 80.
Deep in the craggy mountains there once lived a beast with magnificent antlers and a coat as dark as night. By means unknown it would appear before the injured and ailing and gently draw its body close. La lullaby, comfort those whose death is nigh. Still their breath a final sigh. So good night with lullaby. Bluntly put, the creature's invigorating darkness would quicken the advent of an inevitable passing. You can imagine how sinister this must have seemed to the Church of the First Light. A deplorable shadow, they called it. So, in the self-righteous fashion of mortals, they dragged the beast from the mountains and sealed it away in some far forsaken land. There we can suppose it turned, its once glossy black coat now a desiccated white. Perhaps, by latent instinct, it sought to end your own suffering, Pilgrim, usher you through death's door, following darkness like a dream.
I don't remember what that one looked like at all. At all. These are ones I've only cleared a single time. Malacoda, Stone 90.
What say you of the Pilgrim's Road, Bendy Spire? You've paid homage to many a ruined chapel, after all. Had the flood not swallowed most of the world, you might have been able to tour the churches outside Norvrent as well. Alas. Regardless, Traverse Stone 81 marks a significant turn, one into the heart of Lakeland. There, the Church of the First Light originated, and so chapels are both numerous and old. Elegant, even. What I can't explain are your reports of the pervasive darkness. Night may have returned to Norvrent, but last I checked, it hasn't nested upon Lakeland like some grumpy Amaru. As for this Malacoda, well, I haven't the faintest clue of what it is. I'm impressed you managed to catch its name at all. Any practitioner who can simultaneously juggle so many incantations is far too nimble to be a mindless sin-eater. That much I can say for certain. But what indeed was passing felon wrath, haunting the stones upon the holy path? A plague of darkness, pilgrims all for fear, creep into empty pews and hide them there.
Fear and there don't rhyme, Aenc Daen. You messed that one up. Alright, and then the final one. Eminent Grief, the final boss. Stone 99.
Eminent grief. The king betrayed little regarding its nature. And who am I to tread loudly in the domain of their silence? Tyr Marn may delight in revealing the secrets of both the living and insensate, but woe betide the Fae who unwittingly betrays royal secrets. To satisfy your mortal curiosity, I suppose I can tell you the obvious. The fiend is a marriage of light and darkness. Opposites attract, do they not? Regardless of their origins, 'twas an edict in destiny that they collided, like a union of true lovers crossed. Whatever its cause, their meeting was marked by a ferocious contest of wills. Mayhap darkness devoured more, but it could not digest the most tenacious of sin-eaters. So persisted their hungry and unwilling embrace. Yet, by and by, their contrary ethers learned a reciprocity that would sustain the unholy union until its interment. Their contrary ethers learned a reciprocity. That's such a weird word. One stone shall serve as a barrow for them both. One heart, one end, two wretches, and one troth. Mortal though you well may be, travelled you so trippingly, arms in hand with fairy grace, did you cleanse and bless that place. Now until a darker day, fortune smiles upon all Fae. Mark my words and mark them true. Every thanks we give to you. That was lofty. Now it is time for Aenc Daen the Merry to close the tome upon these antic fables and fairy toys. Should you demand more stories of such a weak and idle theme, I tell you, not for my fairy kingdom. No more words. Away! Go away!
Enough of your story time, they tell me. Lovely. Tyr Marn, you don't have anything new to say, do you?
Bring me anything curious, anything more unnatural than usual, and I'll tell you what it truly is. I delight in all discoveries, but let us hope for something spicy.
Alright, no, oh, we can't even small talk. Alright. Same things there. Ose Wyd.
Like I said, I make a habit of making weapons. Where you have the wherewithal, I've got the goods.
So, regular artifacts. All of the vendor items. I don't think anything is new here from clearing the final floor. Those are all standard stuff. What about... Alright, you do get the Illumed Invocations from clearing. So this gives you... There's a Framer's Kit available for 2, a housing item. You can exchange them 1 book for 2 luminous oil. That's kind of nice. And then there's, of course, the accessories. All 4, and you get the achievement and reward. Special reward, they said, from Aenc Daen. These also look really nice. These are always a unique thing. Look at that! Oh my goodness. Those are such pretty earrings. Holy. They're on both sides. Oh man. A little pearlescent, iridescent sheen to them. A little blue and green gem dangling. Like downward facing wings for your ears. So pretty. The necklace also extremely gorgeous. Got little pastel rainbow going on in the the dangly bits, 2 green gems, bright white silver metalwork. What about the bangles? What the bangles be looking like? They're pretty. They're very strappy, very thin, plant-like. They don't actually connect on the back. That's cool. Little rainbow gems of dark blue, teal, green, yellow. So rainbow. And the ring. Oh, the ring is fine. The ring's the weakest piece to me in this set. It is cute. If you were going to glamour over a ring, this is a very nice, low-profile, elegant one. Silver filigree and little blue gem in it. Possibly something else? Can I try it on my other finger? No, it can't. That's annoying. The earrings and necklace are absolutely freaking bonkers pretty, though. And that is the book you get from the final floor. Most of these take 2. So you have to clear twice to get any one thing. The only exception to this is the oil, which is 1 book for 2 oil. And then you can, of course, trade out your Aetherpool. 10 arm, 10 armor gives you 1 grip. You get enough grips, you can get Aetherpool Gear. And once you clear, I believe the second half of this menu opens up. So 3 grips get you the first light weapon, and then if you do another 6, you can upgrade it to a sacramental status. And I don't think there's any change to their visual appeal. Oh, is there? Do they sparkle? What is the difference? These are 755. These are 750. Okay, there's an item level increase. But visually, the metal changes color. That's it. And I guess there might be a little tiny sparkle when you pull it out. But it doesn't stick around, which is goofy. Let me see. Let's try a different one. Let's try... Where's the greatsword? Put your clothes on. Alright, that one didn't even have anything fancy. But yeah, the main difference is the metal changes and the item level goes up from 750 to 755. So these are a horizontal progression option, and also glamour, obviously. And there's an achievement for getting 1 of each. So if you get 1 weapon and then you upgrade it, those are the only achievements for this Deep Dungeons weapons. Learn more. What else do you say? What is there to be found in the churches?
The ramshackle scraps of lives left behind. Pixies can weave a dream out of anything, but you mortals are so picky when it comes to gifts. So bring me ether-rich shards from inside the church, and I'll use them to spin you glory out of glass. Neither will I refuse pretty pebbles or glamorous gobs. Whatever tickles my fancy will earn you an even trade.
So that's them alluding to the different types of tradable tokens. There's so many. There's so many. Can Aetherpool arms be used outside of the church?
Yes, but only with the help of Ose Wyd. The king's gift is glorious, but also dangerously delicate. Left alone for too long, it will become brittle as bark. That's where I come in. With a flick of the wrist, I can pluck out its strongest moments and make them last for an age, wherever and whenever you need them.
And that's just their text for being able to forge the Aetherpool weapons. Alright, that's all they have to offer. Let's see what Vanthau has to say now. Oops, we're kind of clipping into each other there, buddy. Sorry. What are these scores? Disband, reset. Oh, I can't just... Oh, learn about. Nope, that's not chat. Consult the challenge log. Yeah, I've only gone halfway through for the week. That's fine. Okay. Okay, Vanthau. Ah, invoke quantum. Summon... Wait, you are actually allowed to do this solo? I thought this one required 4 people. Huh. Fascinating. Alright, we're not going to do that, but what we are going to do is head over to the Crystarium and chat with a certain warrior of darkness that isn't us. Ciela! Ciela is this way. Wait, I could just teleport over. Hold on. Blip. Blip. Up at the... Ah! There's even a little quest marker over there, over her head. Nice, 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 nice. Let's check in with Unokalhai real quick.
Zeromus.
He was a great hero of Eld, beloved by all. Never did I imagine his name would live again after 10,000 years. Fitting that another who bears it might aid us, even if only by way of a Memoria crystal.
Alright, so that's a reference to the end of Endwalker there.
That it should be wielded by this Zero is both reassuring and encouraging. To know that we are not alone in our endeavor makes our work here in the First all the more important. Speaking of which, I recently spoke with your comrades returned from the Empty. If only Oriange could have arrived at a solution as ingenious as primal summoning.
That was not recent, I'm sorry to say.
Breen and Gaia are quite the formidable pair, aren't they? Skilled combatants gifted with command over light and dark. Were their strength not crucial to the First Restoration, I would ask that they join us when we return to the 13th.
Oh, okay, that last bit there might be new. I haven't talked to Unokalhai in a while, so I'm not sure. Ciela, however, you're the one we're here to talk to. The Pilgrim's Answer.
Come again? A Sin Eater fused with a Void Scent.
We should speak elsewhere. Somewhere quiet. Alright. Hey there, Glennard. Taking my break. Be right back. It's me, Glennard. The Warrior of Darkness requests the Warrior of Darkness.
Tell me, you're investigating a ruined church of the First Light.
That's correct. It was causing a disturbance in Almeg. Fairy King Titania called me in to help them.
You possess a singular talent for dredging up memories I'd sooner forget. Not that I could fault you for it. Remembrance is the burden of the living. What you described sounds like a Voidsent I once defeated in the 13th, back before any of this. At the time, I was just another Memorian, traveling the land and hunting the monsters that preyed upon the innocent. Until I realized one such monster could be of use to me.
Oh. Early Voidsent Pact?
When I sealed it in Memoria, I had no other thought but preventing its resuscitation. But when I agreed to journey to the First, as the Ascian's hidden emissary, I remembered that Voidsent. A creature of its caliber could turn the tide of battle. It could lend me the strength I needed to prevail. Drawing its power from the Memoria would have been a simple matter. Yet, after bringing it here, I left it to gather dust upon my desk in Lakeland. If I truly had wanted to defeat Ardbert, that Voidsent would have been my solution. But I was afraid. Afraid of being twisted by darkness like so many Memoriates before me. Afraid of becoming what I hated the most. Never mind that it was far too late. The Ascian's puppet, fearing corruption. Absurd, don't you think?
Aww. You're no monster, Ciela. Or part of you always wanted Ardbert to succeed? Yeah, we'll latch on to the good there. Succeed in slaying the monster, you mean? No! Don't twist it! I wish I had. Would that I'd been a traitor only to myself. I could have believed my heart was in the right place, if nothing else. Above all, I was naive to think the Memoria would be safe in my former quarters, even once they were rendered inaccessible to mortal interlopers. Sin-eaters must have been drawn to the Memoria's concentrated darkness. They would have provided enough light to break the seal, and suitable fodder for the fiend in its newfound freedom. In sparing the first from its wrath, you have prevented untold devastation. I know that words will not absolve me, yet, as one who draws breath upon this star, I offer them nonetheless. Warrior of darkness. Nay, warrior of light, I thank you. Happy to be of service. So can you tell me more about this thing? Because at this point, we know that Void Sent are not like special foreign creatures. They are residents of the 13th whose ether was stagnated or accelerated to the point that they could not die. So that was a person, or multiple, because they can absorb each other, but the dominant entity tends to maintain like a fronting presence. Who was it? At loose ends, are you? You're welcome to loiter about here, if you intend to spend some coin while you're at it. Not that I'm not grateful for the business you brought in, mind. The hunters are here even more often now that they're working together, and their accounts never go unsettled for long. They're a pain in the arse to serve, of course. Maybe I'll drop your name next time I need them to behave. Still, it's nice to feel like something grand is in motion again. Perhaps Ardbert rubbed off on me more than I anticipated. Aww! Okay, let's see how fare you of late. Shadowkeeper, Warriors of Light, Eden, Lokalhai. I went to the 13th. But she doesn't have an option for revisiting the Pilgrim's Traverse topic? That feels like an oversight. What is this 13th one? I too know the sting of the Asian's deception. 'Tis well this Golbez now strives to make amends for his transgressions. As for your friend Zero, I struggle to believe she not only journeyed here to the first, but was able to take light into herself. That one might have such strength of spirit beggars belief. That is not to say Lokalhai and I are not capable in our own right. In fact, I believe it may soon be time to put our plans into motion and return home to the 13th. Alright, I don't remember exactly if those are the same dialogue that they had regarding the 13th, but ooh, my heart is so excited at the prospect of that being part of 8.0. Let's go world hopping some more. We already have this fancy cup that makes it easier. We don't have to go through void gates. Tee. But I think that's a wrap for the things that I needed to get done and document. I love that there was this little send-off with Ciela here. This little nod. If you've completed the role quests from Shadowbringers, by the way. This whole little section is a chain. Once you complete the role quests in Shadowbringers, you get to learn a little bit more about the Warriors of Light versus the Warrior of Darkness on the first, and Ciela has a big role to play in that particular story that you only get to unlock by doing all of the role quests. So, do all of the role quests. Tee-hee, tee-hee, I'm looking at you, I'm batting my eyelashes. Tee-hee, they're very good. Tee-hee. And then by having that done, you get this new addition, this new little callback. Yahoo! Yippee! Oh, there's no... I see. There's no stools at this bar. Oh, did they decorate with more? Look at that bread. Very nice. So that said, good evening, cine streamers. Till next time.